Have you ever used Windows XP? Think back to the early 2000s. You push the power button on a beige tower, hear that iconic Windows XP startup chord, and gaze at the rolling green hills of bliss. But what really made XP feel like magic was the software. Programs like Winamp, MSN Messenger, and 3D Pinball weren't web apps wrapped in heavy browsers. They were compiled, native code built to run directly on the hardware. Every byte of memory mattered, which got me thinking, what if I coded my own app on Windows XP in 2026? For the next 5 days, I will build an app in Windows XP. And in the end of the video, I will tell you if you should or you shouldn't code an app in Windows XP. I will be using Visual Studio 2003 to design the app, and the programming language, I will be using C#. So let's get started. First, I had to decide what kind of app to build. So I chose to create a customized alarm app for Windows XP. From there, I moved into designing the user interface. Initially started with one style like this, but since I wanted the app to be much more colorful, I changed it to this. Yeah, I know it's still pretty basic, but this is just the beginning. Day 2 is where the coding begins. I started by writing the alarm's code in form1.cs page, and then I tested it. And what I expect, it had errors. So I asked AI, and apparently I had to rename the controls in the designer, and as I was about to rename them, the form designer suddenly became blank. So I had to rewrite the code by telling AI to generate the app's code, and since the code is now different, the design looks different too, and here is how it looked. Oh, and I also changed the icon. I wanted to add some more features on this app, and since this app is made for Windows XP, I wanted to add some retro clock display, and this is how it turned out. But what if some people don't like this theme? So I added a settings page where if they don't like the theme, they can disable it. In day 4, I added more features to the settings page, like the full screen mode. But I noticed that there was so much space in here. So I decided to make the display panels, fonts, buttons, date time pickers, and lap lists look bigger when they press full screen mode by telling AI to regenerate the code because I don't know how to do it. And well, at first the font made it bigger in non-full screen mode, but then, after some changes, we now have this. Pretty cool, huh? In day 5 is the final day on coding on Windows XP, and here is how the app looks like right now. The alarm works. The stopwatch works, and the settings like the use retro LED and full screen mode also works. So now it's time to compile the app, but before I compile it, I asked AI to put any feature she wants onto the code. Apparently she added an audio sound selector, snooze functionality, countdown timer tab, and settings persistence, and this is how it turned out. So as you open the alarm app, the snooze button is disabled. That's because the alarm is not set yet. When the alarm rings and you press OK, the snooze button will be enabled, and you can press to add 5 more minutes. The timer looks really nice even with buttons that you can add minutes. But then when you put it in full screen, and then put back to the original, the timer is just screwed up, and then we got the alarm selection. Now here is the thing. Selecting the alarm and testing it worked. But when I tried it on the alarm, it did not work. And I think the reason why it doesn't work is because after I stopped it running the app, I got an error. But after some fix, I got more errors. But after some another fix, it works. So in just 5 days, we built an app for Windows XP using Visual Studio. So is it worth coding in Windows XP in 2026 using Visual Studio 2003? Well, if you have a great idea for an app or a tool for Windows XP, I would say to go for it. But you might need help from AI because you might get some errors. Oh, and I would not recommend vibe coding on this. Well, that's the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe.